He's good.
Okay, but let's talk some Beverly Hills for a second. Where do I want to begin? Well, Kyle Richards has done some speaking lately, and she has alluded she's let us know that there is a new lie. Off camera, Dorit Kemsley has told a new lie. So I don't know if you heard this yet. There's this basically her and Dorit are in an okay place and they made plans to go out. They were texting and Dorit said, let's go to Chateau. I love how people call Chateau Marmont Chateau. By the way, here in LA, I am considered extremely rude. Just FYI about where we're considered rude. Mind you, I'm considered rude almost everywhere, including New York. But that's besides the point. I'm actually extremely nice. But
You
here,
are. I don't think
I'm
you're rude.
not, you know what it is? I'm not considered rude here, but people here sometimes just don't get my energy. Like when we have a conversation, I'm like, okay, so like, are we doing that in 5 minutes, in an hour? We're doing it in next week on Thursday. That's like 9 days away. What? So I do have I'd like it something, like we have a conversation. Like, what do you mean we're dealing with this in a week and a half?
Right.
Why can't we deal with it in 3 hours? I have
Right.
that. I think people, I
Well, you're
love people.
upfront. That's the thing. People in
Yeah.
LA, they like to put their secret sauce on it. And I'm like, tell me what it is. Can you hang out or not? They're like, I will let you know. Let me talk to my healer and do a sound bath and blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of faux spirituality bullshit, and people are trying to be nice. But in New York, they're like, get out of my way. Where in LA, they're like, oh, and then they're like, oh, that person's so annoying. I'm like, just say that then. Like, well,
Just
you're not
say
being real. You're not being real. I like New Yorkers. That's more my energy anyway. So.
it. Well, it is my energy. But so apparently, Dorit said, okay, great, let's do dinner, Chateau. And then apparently, Kyle and Erica were talking. This has all happened off air, semi recently, I guess. And Kyle and Erica were talking, and Erica said, oh, like I have to go. Like, I'm seeing Dorit tonight for dinner, or I'm seeing Dorit on Saturday for dinner. And Kyle was like, oh. And Kyle was like, she didn't say anything, but that was the night Kyle and Dorit were supposed to go out. So Kyle said, I kept this to myself. I didn't want to say anything. I'm thinking maybe we're all going to dinner, I guess. But she kept it to herself. And then I guess as Saturday was approaching, Kyle said, so are we still on for dinner at Chateau? And Dorit said to Kyle, Chateau. Now, let's just pause after I say this. Chateau was full and we can't get in. Now, that is true about Chateau. You don't,
Okay.
it's one of the harder places to get into, but like, you mean to tell me like Kyle Richards, Dorit Kemsley, Mauricio, these names can't get you a table at Chateau? I think they can.
Oh my God. I can get a table at Chateau.
Right. Like, that's what I'm saying. So Kyle says that Dorit said, well, we can't. So she said, hey, are we still on for dinner tonight or tomorrow? And she said, oh, Chateau was booked. Mind you, Dorit, there's 800 other restaurants
Yeah,
in
seriously.
neither Kyle nor Dorit live near Chateau Marmont
No, they don't.
at all. But regardless, I understand wanting to go there. Great choice, Dory. But she's like, it was full. I'm like,
Okay.
this,
You can go to
and
100 places.
I'm
Sunset
lost
Tower,
in the
Soho
weeds.
House,
Yeah, like,
Storage Club. Like, what?
yeah, but like Chateau is not full, Dorit. Like you're on the Housewives. Like you could have gotten in. But regardless, she said that and Kyle was like, "Oh, so she internalized it. Dorit is fucking lying to me." And then I guess she told this to Erica and Erica said, "Oh, well that makes complete sense because I guess Erica when they were talking about dinner said something suggested Chateau also and Dorit was like, "No, no, let's not go to Chateau." And she was like, oh, so she just didn't want to see Kyle. She was afraid she ran into her. So anyway, Kyle caught Dorit in a current lie. So things don't seem, it doesn't seem like Dorit really does want to hang out with Kyle Richards if she's making plans with Erica Jane the same night. Oh, this is all off camera, and I think it was kind of semi-recent. Interesting, no?
I saw that on the after show, and I kind of didn't think
Maybe
much of.
that's where it's from. Yeah.
Yeah, but now that we're kind of discussing it, and then you know what the worst part about that lie is not the lie itself. It's the let's not go to the restaurant in case we run into her. Like you're now premeditating the lie. Because it could be like, oh, I don't want to deal with Kyle right now. We're not in the best place. I'd rather hang out with Erica. It's like neutral. But like to say like, oh, we can't go to that restaurant because we're gonna run into her, like you kind of know you did something wrong. I think that's the issue I have. So the thing with Kyle is that like in the moment, she doesn't directly confront people. And this is what people don't like about her. I've always liked Kyle, but this season, what I don't like about her is that she lets Garcelle say, well, if you want to be a lesbian, just be a lesbian. She lets Sutton say the infidelity thing and doesn't get angry in the moment and then weaponizes it like 6 months later on the after show and is like, you're a bitch. It's like, wait a second, you didn't say anything to her face. You let her get away with that comment. So it's like with Dorit, if I was friends with her and I had been friends with this, I'd be like, Dorit, honey, why are you canceling last minute? Let's go to a different restaurant. She doesn't kind of go back to her. And then she's like, oh, look at how shady she is. Well, you could have confronted her and said, let's go to In-N-Out. Like, I don't care where we eat. We're friends. Like, I always tell my friends that. They're like, oh, we can't get into Nobu. I'm like, I'm not going with you to dinner because I want to go to Nobu. I'm like, let's eat at Mel's Diner. Who cares? Like,
And I mean, Erica's now in the middle. Like, do you think that this may come out? Like, if you're gonna lie and you have two completely separate groups of friends, by all means, we all tell a little white lie sometimes, but
sure.
this is the same group. You don't think this is gonna get out? Like, I don't get it. And yeah,
Well,
I would just say, like, I don't understand. Like, you lied to me. So, like, what's that all about? Like,
right. And
just
you lied to two people, right? Like I didn't even think about that because you probably didn't tell Erica because you told Erica, let's not go to Chateau, but you never told her like I was supposed to see Kyle. What if she put a story and then you were in it? And then now the problem with lying is then you're lying to cover another lie. Oh, everyone, don't post your story because I only do white lies with two separate groups because there's no overlap. But not
separate
when people
groups.
know each other. Like I feel like that's childish, especially in our 50s.
Well, we can't really do stories at Chateau because you're not supposed to take your phone out. Now, right now, I went to Chateau the last time when, and I don't speak to this person any another person. You know how I tell you not to be friends with housewives?
You were right.
I was right. Another person who is, by the way, I never get mad, but when you get mad at me, I will defend myself. Barbara Kay, I've told this story on this podcast before. Miss Kay, Miss Barbara Kavovit from New York, but she also is in the Hamptons. So she lives not really, but like the next town over from me in the Hamptons. And she doesn't speak to me anymore because she's jealous that I'm friends with Luann. Uh,
Oh,
True story. True
right.
story.
Childish.
I mean, we ran into her one night at Le Biblioquai at Sag Harbor. This is like not years ago. This is like this past summer. And like there she was, and like whatever. I mean, I was hanging out with Luann all summer. And Barbara was upset that I was with Luann because I mean, I don't think Luann really wants to sit around and hang out with Barbara. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be honest. None of this has anything to fucking do with me, because I mean, I can be everyone's secrets are safe with me. But anyway, Barbara was not thrilled. And then she was texting Elise. This is real. This is like real life. There ain't no camera. Give me a fucking salary. She was texting Elise Lane
Okay.
from Roni, also, who was also in the Hamptons, but has nothing to do with this. Like, fuck David.
Oh, God.
Like, he's here with Luann. Mind you, I was hanging out with Luann all summer. Mind you, let me just back off. Luann calls me and texts me all the time to go out. Girl, Barbara, you don't ever text me. So like, like just FYI. But then she was texting Elise Lane like fuck.
Yeah.
So then Elise then texted me just to be like, what the hell is going on? Like, I have no time for this, but let's talk tomorrow. I was like, great. I called Elise the next day and I'm like, you realize like how she's like, I won't blow up or cause any problems in Barbara and Elise's friendship, but let's just say Elise was like, "Yeah, you're living your life. You did nothing wrong." I'm like, mind you, I didn't have plans with